On to the September 25th, 2025 meeting of Burlington's Conservation Commission. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Okay, let's do the roll call. Please, if you're here, please say present or here or something. Commissioner Rob Sheehan. Here. Commissioner Kent Moffitt. He's absent. Commissioner Sarah Walensky.
Here.
Commissioner Indra Deb.
Here.
Commissioner Ed Laturco.
Here.
Commissioner Bill Boyven.
Here.
Associate Commissioner Sadie Backstrom. She's absent. And for the record, the Chair, Larry Cohen, is present as well. All right, first on the agenda is public comment for anybody who's not on the agenda or something they want to talk about. Is there anyone in the audience that's interested in talking about anything that's relevant to conservation? How about online? Do you see anybody?
Nope.
All right, the record should show there was no one for public comment, period. We have minutes of August 14th to approve. Is there any discussion?
Nope.
We didn't do them last time. Could I have a motion to approve if there's no discussion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? That's 600, that passes. Okay. Now, what about the minutes of September 11th?
We do not yet have those.
That's what I thought, they're not here. All right, so we have a few items on the agenda that are actually continuing. We have a request for determination of applicability, which was next, 22 Carroll Ave. Felix Ramos, and he is constructing an addition onto a house. They've asked to continue. Could I have a motion to continue the request for determination until our meeting of October 9th?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. That's number 4. Now, number 5 is a continued public hearing for 114 Wynn Street. It's the Burlington Public Schools redevelop the playing field, DEP file number 122-713. It is my understanding that they have also asked for continuance. Could I have, again, a motion to continue 114 Wynn Street, the hearing, notice of intent, to October 9th?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600 again. Also, I'll skip down now to item 7. Item 7A was a continued public hearing, notice of intent, 7A Street, from the American Maplewood Properties LLC. It's for material storage and crushed stone parking areas. It has a DEP number of 122-715. They have also asked to continue. Could I have a motion to continue that particular hearing to October 9th, 2025?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor again? Again, same vote, 600. All right, so according to all that, item 6 would be in order, but we are early. So would someone like to make a motion to take the discussion of 0 Cambridge Street, 35-115, it has, its proposed development of a resource area relocation, out of order? Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? 600. So if the people are here for 0 Cambridge Street, come on up. My understanding, after you go into your introductions, that this is an informal discussion.
Correct.
And I guess you're looking for direction, is that what this is?
Well, yeah, so my name is Jeremy Foote. I'm with TRC, representing Foxborough as the wetlands and permitting.
Nick Dewhurst with Bowler. We're the civil engineer on the project.
All right. Okay, well, why don't you start out, and then we'll have a roundtable discussion perhaps.
Sure, absolutely. So Foxborough Learning is looking at developing a new learning center at Zero Cambridge. And so in the process of originally surveying and developing this property, it was discovered that there is jurisdictional streams running down the property. I don't know, yeah, so we have this is one of the concept drawings that's currently, we'll get to the blues and the reds here in a minute. And so what we would like to do is have an informal discussion about how the Conservation Commission would like us to address the disturbance to the resource area, which is the jurisdictional streams. Because with the there is so at where the green and the blue intersect right off of Cambridge Street is a stormwater outlet. And from that stormwater outlet, it has created cut-throughs and different surface drainage and channelization of surface flow over this area, and is feeding the wetland complex to the, what is that, west? Down to the west.
That would be west, I think.
Hey, look at that. And so one of the things we want to discuss with the board is we had a couple ideas on how you wanted to address how we wanted to have an informal discussion about which direction you would like us to proceed. One of our original ideas was that we were going to we were going to connect the outflow, the road outflow to a different pipe, have it drain into this plunge pool, which is in blue, and then have a swell go around the property. And we had two options. One, we were going to have a swell that drains. We were going to have a swell, so this is the plunge pool.
Actually, the glare from that is hard. It's actually easier over here.
And it's a touch
I
screen.
could,
It's a touch screen, so
so
you
be
can.
careful.
You can, no, just, you can move it around too.
Oh, okay.
You can Move the
Be able
thing,
to zoom in and zoom out.
if you want.
Yeah, you can use it like a laptop.
Nice. So this is where, so you can see where the storm drain collects water, dumps water out here. One of our original ideas is that we're going to create a plunge pool, and it's going to collect water here, and then we're going to create at least one or two swells, one swell draining into this wetland, the top of the wetland complex, and then create another swell that takes it around the property, is daylight the entire time, and then drains into this wetland complex. The idea is that both wetland complexes are still receiving water that it would normally receive from the stormwater drain. We've only got one here, and so we can just do the one. And so one of the concerns is that that's splitting the flow that originally all went down here. And so that's why we only have the one blue we only have the one blue, which is the swell that collects it from the plunge pool. The idea of the plunge pool is it's going to be a settling pond. So, because, I mean, we all know what stormwater coming off the streets is going to be like. It's not great. And so the idea is to settle, collect a lot of those suspended load, and then have a much cleaner water come through into the wetland. That was option one. Option two is this green line. Now, what this green line is basically, so
Green?
this entire,
Green, where is it? Green?
this guy right here.
Oh, okay, got
And
it.
so, because, I don't know, you've all been out there when we went out and we walked in to look at the encroachment that had happened during initial geotech drilling. So you know that it's slanted. So there's going to be a good deal of fill that brings this up to grade to the road. And so one of the other propositions we have is that we just connect it straight through with a stormwater pipe. And so it collects water here, sends it straight through, and then we have an outfall at this retaining wall and dumps it right back into the wetlands. And so really the only change is that instead of having sort of this braided superficial flow that is channelized over time, it takes it and sends it directly to the wetland. And that way the water is still getting it. And so that's what we want to talk to you about, is if you would prefer us to, because this is a very, very, very simple concept of these two plans. And before we dove into it further and spend more time developing these two plans, we wanted to get an idea of which one you are more inclined for us to pursue. If the plunge pool in daylight swell on the outside, or the direct link underneath and then spit out at the bottom of the property.
Okay. Before I ask Eileen for comments, is the current stream shown in this drawing?
It's this red line right here is where the current delineated stream banks are. So it's the, so.
Oh, does it not?
Oh, can I?
This is the stream
Oh,
banks going
right,
through.
right.
Wait, you can send the request. Let me see if I can grant it. Approve. You're
So-
approved.
So can he can draw on it now?
Is it proof for what?
To
Annotate.
draw.
Well, we'll see.
You
We're
screen
gonna
blow
find
it up.
out.
So you can,
You can
Oh,
scribble
wait.
on
you
it.
I
can
have to click it.
scribble on it now, or, yeah.
Yeah, click it.
All right. So you
Yeah.
Oh,
can,
there it is. So yeah, so we got this, we'll do this blue.
I think you're the first person to ever
And
do
so
this.
this
awesome.
is the original, this is the delineated streams right here. And so the idea is, and so these are just braided superficial streams. I mean, they've channelized over time because it's stormwater coming off of Cambridge Street and just,
what do you mean, what does braided mean?
it means that it's, so a braid, so this is a stream, and a braided stream is like when you look at like glaciers, because it's real shallow, superficial flow, it sort of created this, braiding effect where just the microtopography will send different rivulets of streams, and then over time, it has created more channelization in some of the braids, and so that's what we've been able to delineate from the original. That's what we delineated for the original stream bank, is some of those braids that have sort of channelized more. And that's where we get the jurisdictional streams, is where they've, been more channelized. And so one of the two options we're proposing of doing is, since these channels were created from the storm flow coming in, we want to capture all that storm flow and make sure it passes all the way through the new structure we're developing and puts it right back in the wetland. And so the wetland is not losing any water.
Okay, all right, so let's, you can have a seat, or you can stand there, whatever you want.
I have a question.
Yeah, I was going to go to Eileen first. Eileen, do you have comments? And then I'll go to Sarah next.
Well, just to remind you all, they did do an ANRAD back in 2018. That's how we identified the fact that those are officially streams under our bylaw definition. But as Jeremy said, they're kind of, they're definitely movable, because when we found that enforcement, what turned into an enforcement this summer, there had definitely been some movement from what was there before. So that's part of why I don't feel, I think it's possible that they can move those streams. They are kind of a movable feast as it is. I personally like the blue option better, because I don't like the idea of just sending it into a pipe and then straight through to the wetland. This way, you're feeding the existing wetland that's there, and you're sending some through as well. It just seems like a more natural option to me. But it is definitely just pretty dirty stormwater that's
Okay.
getting there in the first place.
Let's see if,
Well, one of the reasons why
Yeah.
we wanted to give this option as well, because doing this option, we are building this swell in the 50-foot no build. And so, like Nick and his team worked to redesign the building to get it out of, so you've got, this is the 50-foot no build, right, about there. And so they worked to get they worked to get the building footprint out of the 50-foot no build. And so that was one of the other reasons why we're proposing this pipeline, to just make sure the water moves from the street into the wetland, because that way we're not creating more disturbance in the 50-foot. I'm just bringing that up as part of the decision-making process that we went through on why we did the two
Creating a
options.
swale or a channel isn't the same as building, because you're not
No,
building a structure.
absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
don't feel so strongly about the 50-foot for that particular instance.
okay. let's see what the commissioners have to say. Sarah, you have a question or comment?
I have a question about the braided streams. Is it B-R-A-I-D, like braiding hair, or is it
Yes.
B-R-A-D-E, like abraded?
Braided hair, it's like braided hair.
Okay, and is
Because
it
that's kind of the idea is that, it's just,
crossing and crossing themselves repeatedly or something?
yeah, where it just kind of, because it's superficial flow, and it's usually like a real loose sand or hill or something that doesn't have a lot of structure. And a lot of the times it's just made through like sort of flashes of surface flow, and just the microtopography just sort of naturally channelizes some of it, but it's not enough consistent flow to make hard channels. And so especially since this is stormwater draining, it's real flashy. And so it's just, whatever has been the path of least resistance at the time of the flash flow.
So is it kind of just like an opportunistic stream in a way, not like a
Very
really
much.
natural stream that was there like
Sure.
100 years ago?
Well, yeah, because the whole thing is been, a lot of it, I can't say from before Cambridge Street was here, but a lot of it is because this is just the stormwater outflow.
Okay.
And so that's, stormwater outflow has gone down to this lower elevation point, and it's just dumped all of this water down here.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. Anything else at the moment? I can go back to you.
I'll have more later.
Ed?
Is there any, trying to figure out how to say this, is there a max that this can handle?
What do you mean the max that the plunge pool
You
can
got a
handle?
real bad rainstorm.
I don't think we've gone that far yet as far as calculations. Right now, this is like, because this is one of the reasons why we wanted to have this informal discussion with you now, is because we don't want to, we don't want to spend a lot of time and money building this, and it turns out you don't like it. You'd rather us have straight through into the wetland. And so we haven't gone that far yet, but I think we would design it to handle at least a 50 year.
Yeah, so, and plunge pools are different than like a detention or infiltration basin in the sense that they're not really meant to retain large amounts of water and infiltrate it or retain it and discharge it accordingly. Really the goal is, as Jeremy said, it's to provide some level of treatment, specifically the total suspended solids, and allowing that kind of settling within the pond. So the outfall that we're talking about, it's a DOT outfall that just daylights. Basically where we're showing a new manhole is exactly where that pipe daylights today. So it's essentially right on the property line. So our goal would be to just, put a manhole essentially at that point where it daylights today, and then pipe it towards that plunge pool. The somewhat tricky part about formally sizing that plunge pool will definitely be understanding what the flows that outfall experiences today are, just understanding that it's a DOT, it serves the DOT Cambridge Street drainage system, so we'd have to understand kind of how much area that's picking up, so we could then calculate, how much runoff we would expect that pipe to experience in like a 2,500-year storm. But yeah, we would certainly take that into consideration, and then really I think your plunge pool would then kind of have just an overflow relief point that would then just discharge into that swale, and it would just kind of carry it along back towards that wetland resource area.
Okay, let's go over to Rob. You have anything at this point?
Yeah, I guess sort of agreeing with Ed, it's sort of like what, it seems because it's a discharge point there, sort of thinking like what happens if, it's 8 inches in 24 hours, 14, like we get to, 100-year 250, is it, could the flow increase by like a certain order of magnitude?
Mm-hmm.
So the
more than
idea,
what
so
you'd
that's
expect
kind of
from
where I
a
want
regular
to do this,
stream.
is to try to give an idea of what the plunge pool is supposed to do. So like you had mentioned, it's not a matter of capturing and retaining the storm water and let it naturally percolate like through the subsurface. The idea of a plunge pool is that you've got a rush of dirty water, like full of sediment and that nonsense. It hits this plunge pool, comes down, there's usually like riprap or something along there, and that just slows this flow. And it doesn't, even if the flow is over the drainage lip, the flow that's incoming still hits this area, slows down, just because from natural hydraulics. And the idea is is it slows down the water velocity, which is going to allow all of the sediments to settle out, and then it'll continue on its way.
It's like an equalization basin.
A little bit, yeah.
And the reality is too, like if there's a storm event that, you know, one of these kind of crazy storm events that we're seeing pretty regularly these days.
Last 24 hours.
Yeah, where, you know, you're just, it's over 100 year, whatever it is. It might not provide that level of treatment that it's designed for from a TSS treatment standpoint. The water would just kind of hit the plunge pool and then go into that swale. So it would essentially do kind of what it does today, where there isn't that level of treatment, but, you know, there wouldn't be any concerns with, you know, the water's just going to, it's just going to go down that swale. And we'll also size the swale accordingly too, to make sure that it's wide enough and slope's not going to be an issue. So water will, you know, kind of rip down that swale as it does in those streams today. I mean, this swale is essentially, it's essentially replicating those streams today. They'll be more defined and they'll be grassed. So, you know, even just the grassed manner of them will provide an additional level of treatment to that water that doesn't exist in those streams
Okay,
today.
like
You
okay.
wouldn't see like, the swale would be, I mean, there's, like, I think currently there's about a 40-foot difference in topography from
Oh,
the
yeah,
stream
yep,
to the
yep.
wetland. Like you wouldn't anticipate like a riprap, a check dam.
We could certainly do check dams throughout the swale, but is your concern that maybe the swale slope would be too steep?
Yeah, it's a little hard to
Yeah.
speculate on now. I think like some of the swales are more sort of like temporary retention.
Yep.
Maybe than sort of like something, or at least to possibly slow the flow in the event of, you know, something.
Well, the grass that we'll put, like, because the swell will be grass lined, so that's kind of what the grass is going to help do. And so not only is it going to be grass lined, so that will help slow it down, but it's also not a hard surface, so that'll help percolate the water into the groundwater, which is one of the things that, you know, these streams are doing now, like as the surface flow. I mean, it's not a lot because this is so flashy and cruises over here, but going through the swell, since it's going to be like I don't know, what's the bottom going to be like?
It would be like a grassed
All
material.
right, I'd like to go to two people that haven't spoken yet. Indra?
Yeah. So have you come up with something pros and cons between this option?
The two options that we're showing right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think kind of like Eileen said, I would say the pro of the blue one is we're sort of replicating that stream type condition. And then really the green one, the pro would be that we're, you know, staying away from the wetland as much as we can. I know, like Eileen said, the 50-foot, it's not permanent structure. So I think that's a totally valid reason why people, you know, you folks may prefer the blue, you know, swale option.
I will have a little bit concern about the maintenance, if you can maintain the soil.
So as you know, as part of our formal drainage design for our overall stormwater system, which, you know, this is an undeveloped lot today, so when we get further into the design, we'll be putting together you know, it'll be probably a pretty significantly sized underground chamber system. So we'll prepare an operation and maintenance plan, a stormwater O&M plan that's for the entire site, and that swale will be included in that operation and maintenance plan, as well as the new manhole that we'd be putting at that outfall point that would be regularly inspected and maintained as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bill, you're next.
Since this is basically a man-made flow in the first place, with it, you know, being a drain from the street, I don't have a problem with man adjusting it to another flow area at all. I prefer the overland route rather than the underland route. The wetland that's on the lower right, is that being supported by this plunge pool at all?
It can be, but the reason why it's not connected in this particular setup is because when we were originally talking about this plunge pool was going straight into this, and the idea would be that all the water comes here, and then because the wetland complex comes down,
Oh, they're connected.
connects here.
They're connected.
And so the idea is that to lessen the amount of disturbance when creating a new swell, plunge pool would connect right here. And that the idea was lessening the amount of disturbance. The concern is that by basically taking all of this input and putting it here, it's going to water starve down here. And that was the pro about putting this sewer, this, stormwater drain system in, is that it's not no water, not no water, but the vast majority of water that comes off of Cambridge Street is gonna go right to this wetland where it was going in the first place, because none of these stream braids filtered here.
Is
But I mean,
anything else filtering into there? Does that have another source?
not that we're aware of, I think this is just natural, surface flow that just collects here.
Yeah, based off the stream, the stream delineations that we have, that outfall, all the runoff from that outfall is getting into those streams and going, you can see that where the streams kind of end at the wetland at the rear. That's sort of where those streams and, the DOT outfall drainage gets to. I suspect, the drainage that flows directly into that kind of plan right portion of the wetlands south of the plunge pool, that's sort of just overland runoff, from the site itself. So I'm sure it doesn't experience a ton of direct, sheet flow runoff because that outfall is getting towards that back portion of the wetlands. So we'd kind of be maintaining the flows to all parts of the resource
But I
area.
mean, adding a connecting swell or a smaller swell is definitely something we can do.
Like an overflow kind of
An
situation.
overflow kind of situation.
Yeah, I think we could essentially have like the main swale that goes to the rear, that outlet would sort of be at a lower elevation. And then in those larger storm events where the pond is, you could have another outlet that's sort of a bit higher that would then kind of overflow into that upper portion of the wetlands.
The only other concern I have is, this is going to be an open body of water near a child care center. Do you think the Board of Health or Planning might have a problem with that? or-
The elevation difference is gonna be quite, because this is gonna be, because this is all raised up, and I think this is gonna be at least a good 3 feet.
Yeah, and to be honest, if it's, as the engineer, if there's a certain depth, it's, we have the obligation to fence it from a safety and liability perspective anyway, so.
Will it normally hold water or only when it rains? And then,
Well, the idea would that it would percolate into the ground. We're not going to design it as an infiltration basin by any means, but, and the soils, we have a geotechnical report that's been done out here. The soils do promote infiltration relatively well, so there wouldn't really be a concern of standing water.
okay. Well, just be prepared for questions like that.
Oh, absolutely.
I think they'll
Yep.
come up. Yeah, all right,
Bill, I
thanks.
100% agree, there might be questions. The very, very, very preliminary plans I've seen of this, it's going to be raised up pretty high. They're going to have some heavy-duty fencing, I think, at the top to keep those kids in. Those kids aren't going to be getting anywhere near that,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, so just so you're aware, like the rear portion of our development, so that's kind of our trash enclosure, yeah, exactly. Like we're gonna have retaining walls in that area of like close to 20 feet in height. It's a significant fill site. You can see the existing topography today, like someone mentioned, it's about 40 feet in elevation change from the road to the wetlands, so it's a significant amount of fill and retaining. Essentially the entire parking area, playground area, it's all gonna be surrounded by pretty significant retaining walls, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to have all that fenced off, of course, and,
All right, I'd like to make some comments also. This fits the definition of an alteration under the,
Yes.
does this have riverfront too in it, or yes or no?
I guess it does under our bylaw, yeah. Yes,
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
Yes.
So there are certain protected interests that you have to demonstrate that you're complying with, and some of this involves a sufficient write-up so it's documented, is what it really means. It doesn't necessarily affect 100% of what you're doing here, but it affects the write-up that we need to document that we're meeting the regulations.
is this like an alternatives analysis type?
Well, if it's a riverfront, it's an alternative analysis, and our bylaw and the Wetlands Protection Act prohibits alterations that harm public interest. In this case, public interest is, we want to, whatever you're doing, we want to prevent any pollution, we would like to protect any wildlife habitat, probably are the two things that
Yep.
come to mind. So the proposed rerouting has to demonstrate that you won't affect these values.
Yep.
The performance standard is typically to, you probably heard this many times, avoid, minimize, and mitigate. So what that means is that you, obviously, your first choice would be, in your write-up, you'd say, you talk about avoidance, well, you can't exactly avoid it when the building's going exactly where the
Oh,
channel is.
absolutely.
But, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it probably should be written up appropriately. The second thing is, it should be, you're going to minimize unavoidable impacts, and then you would want to mitigate any remaining unavoidable impacts. I think the stream crossing standards applies in one sense here. Typically, we apply the stream crossing standards to bridges and culverts, but for relevant to stream work, it requires that any alteration allows for unobstructed passage of wildlife and maintains the natural geometry and water flow. So whatever option you are coming up with, you want to take those words to heart and explain how you're maintaining the natural geometry and water flow. So putting it in a pipe would seem to be not quite
Yep,
right
yep.
for that. You also want to have no net loss of function. So I would think you would have to have some type of assessment that says you would want to mimic the natural stream channel. So you'd want to have some kind of write-up that says, we are mimicking the natural stream channel by doing X, Y, and Z, okay? And the natural functions such as how the current one functions for sediment transport or flood storage, if it is, I'm not sure it is, and habitat.
Yep.
Okay, so you want to look at what you have now and say, we're replicating it this way to satisfy no net loss of function. I don't know if it needs a habitat evaluation. I'm not quite sure I can't remember the trigger for,
Yeah, and we'll, as we're preparing our notice of intent, we'll make sure we're checking all the boxes. And I mean, to your point, for those items that we need to address, we'll probably, in our notice of intent, we'll probably keep it as clear as possible and almost type them out and put a response to each of them. It's probably the easiest way to do it.
The project design should mimic the natural stream features. So that means you should maintain a similar, you have to make a case you're maintaining a similar substrate, the braided channel. You're mimicking it, you'd want to say that, and a similar depth according to what you have now to what you're making, and a similar velocity to support the aquatic life or whatever. If you make a case that you're replicating what you have by doing A, B, C, and D, then that makes a good case for us approving it.
Sure.
A couple of things, though. You want to mimic the current hydrology coming down the hill. So you mentioned two things. You mentioned that on the rivulets that are coming down, they end up in the wetland on the far left, that part of the wetland on the far left. And then you said the wetland on the right seems to be fed by overland flow.
Well, what I mean by that is separate from the DOT outfall. So the way I understand it, based off of the topography and the delineated streams that we have, and I'm just going to kind of, so I believe everything from that outfall gets into these streams, and these streams all discharge, to that rear wetland. So,
But here's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
If anything you're doing is changing the nature of that overland flow to that wetland on the right, you may want to direct some water to go into that wetland to compensate for that change. I don't know, how you're changing contours and filling and all that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and absolutely. As we get into the design, we'll totally, we'll probably just do like kind of a watersheds analysis and see what's going where, which part of the wetlands is being fed by what, and then match those areas, to the maximum extent we can.
And the last thing I have is if any of the wetlands, like that one on the right, that part of the wetland on the right seems unhealthy because it's not getting sufficient water, you may want to make a case for delivering some of the water into it to help it along. I don't know if that's the case, but that wouldn't be naturally what occurring. But if you think all your development is going to change the natural flow into it, you may want to do that, especially if it's not looking so good.
Yeah, I mean, and Jeremy, correct me if you think differently. I don't think it's going to be too big of a lift to come up with a design that really matches the existing condition today, in the sense that we're really sending similar flows to these different areas of the wetland. I don't think that's going to be too challenging, but again, we'll have to really when we put our pencils to it, really explore that in more detail.
Well, we're kind of out of time now, so.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who wants to make a last comment?
Option one is automatically goes into your alternatives analysis.
Right.
As
Yeah.
we did discuss it briefly, blah, blah, blah.
All right,
Yeah.
so do you have enough to kind of go forward with?
No, absolutely.
What we're thinking?
Yeah, I think this was extremely helpful. Yep.
Okay, all right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate
see
your
you.
time.
Thank you for
Yeah,
coming.
you too.
Good night. I keep getting bumped out here. This is the fifth time I've had to log in.
They did something you said.
We need to encourage use of the screen more for the annotator.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
really good.
I'm actually using that like a touchscreen.
Yeah, it was good.
I don't think we've ever seen anybody do that. No. All right, next is 128 Lexington Street, John Caruso. This is a continued public hearing for a notice of intent. It's to demolish the existing structure and construct a new dwelling. It's DEP file number 122-723. Good evening.
Good evening, Commission members. I'm Rich Kirby from LEC Environmental Consultants. With me tonight, applicant and owner John Caruso. At the last hearing, we presented to you the demolition and reconstruction of the single-family house at 128 Lexington Street. Portions of it were in riverfront area and the buffer zone to wetlands. And at the last hearing, I think we got through a lot of the issues, and Eileen and the commission had requested some additional information. Specifically, you had requested that we increase the number of trees proposed in the planting plan. We doubled them. You also had requested that we increase the size of the trees at the time of planting. We went from 4 feet to 5 to 6 feet, which is generally what's commercially available for the straight native plants. We also submitted some revised soil test pit data, including the soil textures, which were included to inform the infiltration rates of the infiltration systems. We also provided some details on the stormwater infiltration systems themselves with respect to the elevations of the estimated seasonal high groundwater, the depth of the system and associated stone and cover, and how that all would work on the plan. And of course, the stormwater calculations, which were all submitted. We also included a porous pavement detail for the driveway. And I believe that, and we also provided a narrative for the alternatives for the work in the riverfront. So I think that covers everything that the commission had asked for, and we did have some back and forth with Eileen over the course of the past few days as we, dialed everything in and made sure all of her concerns were addressed.
I gathered that your alternative analysis was basically along the theme, like we're surrounded by resource areas and we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, we have competing influences, yes. If we get farther from the river, then we're inside your 40-foot zone. So if we get farther back, then we have more pavement. If we get closer to the street, we're closer to that potential vernal pool. So we don't have a whole lot of choice to move around.
I guess it was kind of obvious what you were going to write.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, actually, it doesn't matter.
Lucy or Eileen, you have any further comment on this? And are you happy with what we have?
I think we generally are, yes. As Rich said, there was a little bit to and fro between staff and the applicant's team over the last few days, but I think I'm pretty satisfied with everything we got in. There was some changes even just this morning about what Lucy's just showing you now with the stormwater chambers. I wasn't really seeing 2 feet of separation, so with a bit of to and fro, they tweaked the design a little and moved one of the chambers a little bit as well, which is actually good because it's moved it further from the wetland. But they're going to have to do a bit of grading over the chambers, so that's accounted for in the plans that came in today. They're doing a bit more. They're going to have to raise the soil above the chambers. That includes the one in front that Bill was asking about last week. So they're going to have to probably make that into some kind of a feature because it's now going to be about a foot over the level of the driveway.
Okay, so
Just
it'll be a
one-
mounded feature of some sort.
They're just going to have to
That's fine.
make it pretty or something.
Yep.
They had tweaked the detail of this, provided the detail of the porous pavement, as Rich said. The only thing there's 2 things that I'm still have a little bit of concern about. One is just, there's a lot of planting happening, but still not that many trees, but they definitely did double the amount of trees. The other thing is, and honestly, there's not much they can do about this, but they found the isolated wetland BVW with vernal pool features, it's practically right up against where the where the driveway is. Having said that, they have to get into their site. I'm not sure what else they could possibly do about that. I just wanted to point out that those vernal pool features haven't disappeared, and the wetland is very close to the driveway. But I did add something into the conditions in the decision, which we can discuss as we go along, if you guys are open to that.
So how close, is it an actual vernal pool?
Well, it's got vernal pool features.
It exhibits vernal pool characteristics in that it appears to hold standing water. The driveway that goes into the site now, we're just building the porous pavement driveway within the footprint of that existing driveway, but we're also including a lot of vegetation within that vernal pool buffer zone. That'll help offset any impacts that that porous pavement may have, in my opinion. If there are vernal pool critters utilizing that, wood frogs, et cetera, they're going to benefit from having that vegetated land near the vernal pool compared to the lawn that's there now.
All right. Are you,
They won't like the surface, but they have to get into their site.
right. And the critters have to get into their pool. Okay. Are you satisfied with, is there anything that you think they need to provide us, or we need to condition for, like, that they haven't provided?
That they haven't? No, I think we have everything that we asked for.
Okay. All right. Rob? Hi. It's up to you. Anything? Anything further? All right, I'll go to Ed. Anything
Fast.
further?
Nothing to add.
7:10.
Sarah,
Oh, no,
anything
we're
further?
fine.
Bill?
No, I like the plan, I like the concept, I like the fact that they're restoring this site to be a lot better condition than it is right now, and that they're taking family property and making it for the future family. I think that's a wonderful project.
I have only one question. Vernal pools don't like to have strong light illuminating them. Along the driveway, are you planning to illuminate along the whole driveway with bright lights?
Occasionally a lamppost here and there, we can alternate them.
Well, you want to keep it away from the vernal pool.
Yeah, okay.
Is the point.
Yeah, just to have enough sufficient light to see where people are going,
All right, so if you can, I think, space them to avoid the vernal pool, because those critters, if they're there, they don't like it.
Okay.
Is the point, so,
They try to have lights that point down and not widespread.
Okay.
around that area at least. Okay, all right. That's all I have. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone else who has a comment on this for 128 Lexington Street? I don't hear anything, so there's no other comment for the hearing. So I guess we have draft documents, so we could review, close everything, and then take a vote. Do you have you,
Just go through it then.
have you given these folks a copy? Or sent it to them?
Yes. You guys received it, right?
I've been in a workshop all day, so I haven't had a chance to review it, but I'm happy
Well, we're
to.
going to go through it now.
That's perfect.
Okay, do you have a copy to look at?
I do not, but I have my glasses.
It's easy. It's easy.
You must have pretty good eyesight. 'Cause I couldn't read.
With the glasses, if I didn't have those, forget it.
All right, so I guess Eileen or Lucy will go through it for us.
I will, I'll just share it because if we're making changes,
Right.
it's probably easier if I can just type right on it.
Okay.
I think I have everything open here right in front of me, though. I can close a few things. Oh, no. Where are you? Get away. Okay, here we go, finally. Okay, we might have to add something in as we go along about the lights, if we figure out how to word that. So a notice of intent by the application was filed for demolition of a single-family dwelling and construction of a new single-family dwelling with an attached ADU within the riverfront area of Vinebrook, the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and to isolated wetlands under the Burlington bylaw. The project also included installing 3 infiltration beds, grading, removal of 41 trees, and planting of 18 native trees.
Excuse me, Eileen?
Yes.
Let me interrupt you for a second. I have 2 paper copies. Would it be easier, literally, for you to have this?
Sure.
Why don't you use this, because I've already looked at it. I appreciate that. I think it'll be a little easier for you to review it.
Got glasses on, too.
He doesn't have his glasses.
Well, one is...
I'm good, it's
well,
big enough.
They're not the same document. One is the findings, the other is the conditions.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay,
so
we're on the bylaw right now.
we're on the findings right now.
All right.
Approximately 67 native shrubs, mostly within the riverfront area, cited as restoration planting and enhancement planting of an additional 40 native shrubs. The replacement driveway was also 7 feet away from features indicative of a potential vernal pool, which could be within the vernal pool under the Burlington Wetlands bylaw. Bordering land subject to flooding is on the property, but no work was to occur within that resource area. We went through the filing history with some dates. We listed all the various plans and documents which were sent in, including ones that got sent in as we went along and ones that were updated as we went along. As we said, the proposed work was partly within the 200-foot riverfront area, the outer 100 feet only, with the within the 100-foot buffer to BVW and IVW, and was within a potential vernal pool, BLSF. We're repeating a lot of the same things here. One thing that's slightly different here is that I think I put the wrong number in there, so I've changed it now. At their closest points, the proposed new dwelling was approximately 165 feet from the bank of Vinebrook and was approximately 51 feet from BVW. I had said 46, but that was something that was the edge of the property, so it's actually a little bit further. Unless I got that wrong, which Rich will correct. And then the closest point of the proposed porous driveway was about 20 feet from BVW, which I might have measured wrong, and 7 feet from IVW, which also coincided with potential vernal pool features. Tree removals occurred across the lot as close as approximately 130 feet from Vinebrook and within the buffer to wetlands. An estimated 2,738 square feet of degraded area within the riverfront were created by this project. This represents less than 5% of the total lot size of almost 59,000 square feet. Within the RA, the applicant proposed almost 4,700 square feet of restoration, lawn to naturally vegetated land, and over 1,100 square feet of enhancement, adding native wood vegetation. This meets the requirement of 1058.5G. I won't read that whole thing unless you want me to, but it's about they're providing at least 2-to-1 of mitigation area to area of alteration, not conforming to the criteria, etc. The Commission is finding that the bordering vegetated and isolated vegetation wetland delineations are accurate. The northern riverfront area boundary to Vinebrook was taken from a plan approved from a previous filing, but the Commission does not formally approve the eastern riverfront boundary, which was taken from USGS mapping. That's not a big deal. It was just a little small feature of the lot. The Commission is finding that this project is exempt from the standards as it is a single-family home. However, they are infiltrating to the maximum extent practicable, consistent with the bylaw. They propose to infiltrate the new rooftop area into 3 infiltration beds, each containing 4 ADS StormTech units with a 0.01 acre-foot storage capacity, and the entire driveway, as I said, driveway would be porous pavement. Erosion controls would also be implemented during construction. Other findings, this is a redevelopment project. It's meeting performance standards found in 310 CMR 1058.5D and G, and additionally, the Commission finds that given the site constraints, there is no feasible alternative. The highlighted ones are the ones we're going to have to vote on, or just things to be aware of. The Commission is going to vote to waive the 20-foot no disturb setback. The Commission is also requiring that the applicant reevaluate the vernal pool features in the first spring that work occurs and submit certification document to NHESP if vernal pool species are found.
To take a look at that.
If they're okay with that. The Commission is requiring that native trees and shrubs be replanted with species and locations per the approved restoration and enhancement planting plan. The permit will also serve as a permit under the Burlington Stormwater Erosion and Sedimentation Control Bylaw. All standard stuff for the next half a page. They're going to use either compost tubes or hay bales for erosion controls. Don't use pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers on site. And just towards the very end, we're suggesting a bond in the amount of $3,500, which is pretty standard for a single-family house with fairly substantial work occurring. Now we're just going to open up the order.
So you're going to give them that, and you get it back when you're all done.
Am I speaking too fast? All right.
Is this small? typo there in stormwater management, the driveway, the spelling.
She fixed it. She
You
already-
fixed it?
Oh,
She got it.
DIVE. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I caught the DIVE. Okay, again, listing the same plan set we've switched over to the order now. And then for conditions starting 22, most of those first few are just the completely standard ones that we have every single time about how it's going to comply with the project as described in the documents that we approved. It's permitting work in the 200-foot riverfront area and the buffer to wetlands and within potential vernal pool, bylaw jurisdiction only. No other work within other work within wetland resource area has been permitted. Again, standard ones about you saying that this is just by acceptance, you agree to indemnify, defend. This standard wording, it comes in all of them. Pre-construction conditions are saying that you have to be in touch with us a few days before the project begins.
Sorry, what number are you on?
I'm now on 28.
Okay.
Oh, for some reason, we're all kind of sideways on this.
Yeah.
Lucy, if we could just.
Apologize, I swear to God.
Sorry about that. You
That's
couldn't
all right.
see. Those first earlier ones are kind of standard ones.
Yeah.
So now we're getting onto ones where we have a little bit more tweaking. All of the pre-construction ones are really talking about how you have to get your erosion controls on site, stake out limits of work, give us a call to have an inspection, at which time we're going to check all those things. You're going to give us a list of who's going to be working on the site. Your DEP sign has to be in place at that time, and your surety will need to be paid. Erosion controls all have to be in place. Swinging down to erosion controls, their sediment barriers that are shown on the reference plan are 12-inch compost tubes, I believe. We are okay with you. We frequently like to have straw bales on riverfront areas, but most of the work is in more outer riverfront, so I'm okay with them using the 12-inch compost tubes as shown on their plans. I love a compost tube, if somebody can say that. Straw wattle may be used on the Lexington Street frontage. A construction entrance, which is on their plans, shall be installed at the location marked in the reference plans. Materials shall not be stockpiled in the site within 40 feet of the stream or wetlands, or at a location that will allow materials to run into the streets. There's a bit of a slope down into the site, so I don't think that's going to happen. Keep stockpiles on site in good order, circled with hay bales and covered if they're going to be there for a long time. No dewatering permitted on this site unless you give us a plan first so that we agree on how you're going to deal with that. Keep the streets clean, put a silt sack in catch basins within 100 feet of the property. There is one at least right outside it between you and the Islamic Center, I believe. And we reserve the right to require additional erosion control. For work involving filling and grading, I actually feel like I might have repeated that somewhere else, but it's just saying no additional grading beyond what's shown on the plan unless you come back to us first. Under pollution control, those ones are all the standard ones about keeping the site clean if no discharge of fuel on site, if there's any sort of discharge or visible or smellable substances, then you need to inform the appropriate people. No pesticides, herbicides, fungicides to be used on site within 100 feet of wetlands. Fertilizer may be used if it's slow release, phosphorus free, and has been approved in advance by the Commission. That will be noted on the certificate of compliance as existing in perpetuity. Under stormwater management plan, we're describing how it's going to be going into 3 infiltration beds. The driveway shall be porous pavement. Applicant shall provide photographs of the stormwater management system being installed. And then further to that, the applicant shall maintain the stormwater management system and porous pavement in good working order. The drainage system shall be inspected and maintained by the homeowner, and porous paver shall not be seal coated or replaced. Perhaps I should say replaced with impervious. I might just say that to be clear, okay? Impervious material. This condition will be noted on the certificate of compliance as existing in perpetuity. For riverfront area restoration, we're allowing the removal of 41 trees. Removal of any additional trees will require coming back to the commission, or at least to the administrator, to see whether you need to go further with that. 18 native trees and 107 native shrubs shall be planted on site per the approved restoration and enhancement plan. They shall be monitored for 2 full growing seasons. Those that fail to survive within that time shall be replaced. Further alteration within the restoration or mitigation area is prohibited, except as may be required to maintain the area in its restored or mitigated condition. That is per 1058.5H. These planted areas shall not be returned to impervious surface, and this condition shall be noted in the condition of in the certificate of compliance as existing in perpetuity. The department shall not sign for approval of certificate of occupancy prior to installation of plantings and stabilization. And the last 51 describes all the items that you need for your certificate of compliance. Do we want to add something in specifically about that lighting? Because I didn't think of that.
Applicant should avoid direct lighting near the vernal pool.
Where's, okay, let's.
For the whole
I've
thing.
also
Yeah,
found
I don't.
Somebody lived
warmer
there.
lighting, not necessarily any kind of color, but
For
like,
next May?
not like the bright blue LEDs.
This coming
Also,
May,
Yeah,
next
2026.
I don't think so.
Automatic lighting.
So you gotta get your
Sensors?
plants
Well,
in before
They
anybody.
can't, they haven't heard a word that you
that would
said,
be
so we need to
last.
say it to them too,
You're not gonna put
as well as you.
No, no, no.
So that they
You have
can,
what
we
I'm
can
saying
actually have that conversation.
You have a point, so I think let's get their attention.
Okay, I'm going to put it, I'm going to just put it under the riverfront area,
Finish in
because that's
August, and you want
it-
somebody to move in August.
Right.
reasonably good there. Okay, something to do with lighting.
Okay.
So you just gotta.
Sure.
I don't know
Yes.
the timeline yet, you know?
Base
So let me ask you a question.
Of a
You know how
pool's
those
made of,
poles
or
there,
should be made of.
electricity?
Well, it's not,
Wildlife for the most part.
it's basically, it's a shallow depression that holds water, usually only in the spring.
Where's that supposed to go?
What's the base actually,
You'd have to ask
I was
John.
thinking lighting is now affecting it.
No, it's not the lighting on the pool, it's the migration out of the
Okay, so you know
pool.
what the
As
driveway
they
entrance-
migrate
In the
and
top, in the back.
do whatever little
It's
animals
natural.
do.
All across the
When they
street,
leave.
there's
When they
a
leave, yes.
near
When it
that
dries up?
Yes.
wetlands circle light.
Well, no, not
and there's a pole
necessarily
over
dries up.
there,
When they're-
but the
when they're
wire
migrating
ends at
to
this
it.
one.
When they're migrating back and forth, they
Yeah.
migrate
Uh,
back
We
and
did
forth.
something
Star or whatever coming
behind
to a
us.
drop, or the electrician does that, right?
What does that mean?
Oh.
Put it
Yeah,
underground?
no. It pulls there,
50.
then to make it a little closer to the house, you put usually a wood
You have-
a wood frame.
So the water was.
Oh, yeah.
To that,
I think
far to go,
anywhere with
get
the
eaten.
on there.
Tell me they
I mean,
they
it
put strong
kind of
LED
be a
lights so they can see their way.
What,
Do
do they have lights that are specific to that area?
Mother Nature.
Yeah, so I think
No
we
lights.
can anywhere around
No
the
lights.
existing house.
All right,
should we just-
Could it be more or less maybe like to say 100 feet, 150 feet from that existing pole that's right here now?
there you go.
Probably, so long as you're not
That's good.
altering any natural.
No, it's gonna be staked into the lawn.
Well,
and
let's go-
When we're done.
That's fine.
Any
So-
sort of area then, in that area.
Excuse me, you folks, are you, I didn't hear anything you're saying, but are you guys talking about any of what you heard so far?
No, I think this is all based on everything that we've talked about and what's reflected in the plan. So, you're satisfied with everything we talked about?
I mean,
We're
it's,
just wondering about adding something about lighting along the driveway.
Lucy,
Are
did you want to say something, Lucy, about it?
Oh, in my Googling while she was reading, I found warmer lights, like not the bright blue LEDs, but warmer lights obviously downturned, but also the biggest thing is if they could be automated. Obviously like a light at the end of the driveway so people know where you live, but as for going down the driveway, a sensor-based light that can turn off after the car goes by would be best for not just.
Have you come across
A
something?
motion detector light.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be.
Not
They,
just the
they have them in our office.
Yeah.
As you walk down the hall, the lights come on and
Oh,
then
right,
behind you
but I
they.
mean, have you come across them in a condition for something like this?
I have not,
Okay,
but
The bulb themselves are available as light detector. I have one in my driveway.
yeah.
It's just the bulb. I don't have to set it up for the whole lamp, just the bulb. Somebody walks by, the bulb comes on.
Well, I mean, the point is to avoid light into that particular area. That's the point.
right.
Also have a
I mean, how you want to do it, I
Well,
guess is really up to you.
we
Yeah,
could do-
We might do that. We'll just do something vague.
Maybe John could look into it a little bit more and see what his options are and then sketch something on the plan and run it by Eileen before he
Sure.
installs it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'll just put something kind of, for some reason, we're not seeing my thing
Where are
anymore.
you?
It's number 50.
Oh, there we are.
I was just going to say something kind of, not vague, but a little bit open, but then say, we'll agree with staff on the details, basically. Will that work?
Yeah, lighting along the driveway, sure, however,
Well, I was just going to say, so as to minimize disruption to the vernal pool.
Yeah.
All right, okay, are we ready to move along? Everyone?
Yes.
All right, could I have a motion to close the hearing on DEP file number 122-723?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Okay, 600. Could I have a motion also to have a waiver of the 20-foot no disturb zone, because I know you have to, but how should I express it?
it's unavoidable in order to access the property.
Okay, because it's unavoidable to access the property.
That's all I got.
It'll work.
Okay, that's the motion. Okay, is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Do we need any further discussion? All in favor? 600. Could I have a motion to adopt the findings under Burlington Bylaw, Article 14, for DEP file number 122-723?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Same vote. Could I have a motion to adopt the permit conditions under Burlington Bylaw, Article 14, the State Wetlands Protection Act for DEP file number 122-723?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Same vote, 600. Could I have a motion to require the posting of performance surety of $3,500 under Burlington Bylaw, Article 14?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion by anyone needed? All in favor? 600. You're all set.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Good luck with the
Appreciate your
project.
time
Good
and-
luck with
Thank
that.
you.
It's going to be an improvement.
All right. Thanks so much, folks. Eileen, I didn't get a notice. Do you want to read the notice, or for 20 Gibson?
I hope I can connect with the G drive. I didn't know you didn't get it.
Yeah, and I didn't notice I didn't get it.
Oh, darn. Oh, it might be in my email, maybe. Let's see if it is. Oh, there's a chance it's not. I would have sent it to Lisa, right? Let's see if I do have it. Oh, yay, I do. Yay.
All right, doesn't matter, because I can mimic, isn't it?
I've got it now.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
All right, so why don't you read the notice, and these folks will come up, I guess.
Okay. Notice is hereby given that the Town of Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Thursday, September 25th at 7:10 PM in the main hearing room. This will also be accessible virtually via WebEx. The purpose of this hearing is to take all information relating to a notice of intent filed by Jenna Spinoza for the construction of an accessory dwelling unit at 20 Gibson Street in Burlington. The proposed work would be within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and Burlington Bylaw Article 14, and within the riverfront area pursuant to Burlington Bylaw Article 14. Commission will review all information relative to this application and thereafter may issue an order of conditions / wetlands permit.
All right, folks, good evening.
Good evening.
So please introduce yourselves and whoever is with you.
Okay, for the record, I'm Jack Sullivan. I'm the design engineer for the project. I'm the owner of Sullivan Engineering Group.
And I'm Jenna Spinoza. I'm taking part of this project, and along is my father, Stephen Spinoza, the owner of 20 Gibson Street.
Good to see you all. Okay. All right, let's go through this. You guys go first.
I'll go first, okay. Thank you, commission members. So on this project, this is at the end of Gibson Street. It's a cul-de-sac. There's an existing single-family house on this lot. The lot size is 60,008 square feet. There's a number of drain easements on this property. There's
There's a brook that is a bylaw stream. It's not noted as a state stream, but under your local bylaw, it is determined as a stream, and there's BVW associated with this site. Norse Environmental performed the wetland flagging for the bank and BVW. They also provided a wetlands report to the commission, and since we're under the bylaw stream, they also provided an alternatives analysis for this project. For this project, we're proposing an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit. It can be up to 900 square feet. And we're looking to situate it to the left of the existing house. So the commission knows the existing house was built in 1986. The lot's relatively flat. It's grassed. There's no trees to be cut, and there's going to be no grading changes associated with the ADU. The ADU will be constructed on a slab. I did perform soil testing to determine soil types in the groundwater table. I wanted to make sure that where it's a slab construction, I didn't really have to worry about a full foundation height for groundwater reasons, but I needed to know the groundwater table because I wanted to put in a stormwater management system. I wanted to collect the entire roof of the ADU by means of gutters and downspouts and convey it to a drainage system. I did so. I'm proposing a Caltech infiltration system. There's 4 chambers. I've situated the Caltech system 2 feet above the seasonal high groundwater table, so that meets Mass DEP standards. And I sized this system for the 100-year storm event. I provided supporting calculations to the commission to support that. Also on this project, there's an existing paved driveway for parking for the existing house. To the right of the driveway, I'm showing an extension of the driveway. I want to do it in a different material, an impervious material, so I'm showing a 9 by 39 pervious paver driveway expansion. That'll accommodate the vehicle for Jenna. Also, there's an existing walkway with front steps to the house. I've had some email discussion with Eileen on this. We were wondering how Jenna would access the ADU. We're thinking of putting in some sort of flagstone, something impervious that can access the ADU. As you can see from the end of the walkway to the ADU, it's only about 12 feet away. It's not a large distance, but I talked to Jenna before the meeting. She'd be open to some sort of flagstone or something across the grass so we don't have to do anything impervious. I should also note, and I do not show it on this plan because when I submitted, I wasn't sure which direction we were going. We have to look to service this ADU with water and sewer services, and I wasn't sure how Burlington would handle that, if they'd want to see services run out to the street, or if we could connect through from the existing foundation of the home out to the ADU. We found we can connect from the existing house out to the ADU, so water and sewer services, that's a short connection. There's really no impact, but I did want to bring that to the public record that that's how it would be done. As far as the ADU itself, we're outside your 40-foot BVW no structure buffer zone. We're a little over 58 feet away. This site is not within a 100-year floodplain. Behind the existing house, there is a Zone X floodplain, which is like a 500-year floodplain. So we wanted, a couple reasons we picked the location for the ADU. Jenna wanted to still feel a part of the neighborhood. If we put this ADU out in back, she would feel separate from the neighborhood. She'd be in the backyard. We thought it was more appealing. She'd have a view of the street. And even if we put it out in the backyard, we really wouldn't gain much distance to the wetland area. This entire lot's surrounded by the brook.
There's wetlands in back as well.
Yeah, so we tried to...
So the entrance would be facing the street?
Yeah, you'd have the entrance facing the street, correct. So it would feel more in line, especially in a cul-de-sac, that you're part of the neighborhood. We were issued a DEP file number for this project, which is good. And I also, there's 3 catch basins out in Gibson Street. I show proposed silt sacks to be put on those catch basins prior to construction. I'm showing a 12-inch diameter mulch sock to be used along our limit of work line, which would all be outside the 40-foot BVW no structure zone. I am showing construction access. They'd use the existing paved driveway to come in on, and then I have arrows showing how we get to the ADU itself. There'd be no soil stockpiling. We basically have to dig down for a frost wall for the slab, and there's no grading changes with this project. One thing I did miss, and Jenna did mention it to me, they would like to construct a shed. There's an area on the property, it shows existing landscape timbers. You can see it's a kind of a oval shape behind the ADU. It's still outside the 40-foot no structure zone. There used to be a above-ground pool there years ago. It's gone. That's why it's a strange shape. It was like an oval pool. They'd like to put a shed in that location. I didn't show that on the plan. To the left of that, within the 40-foot no structure zone, there's an existing shed. I talked to Jenna before the meeting. They'd be willing to give up that shed if they could get a new shed in that area. So there's a lot going on this site. You can see we're surrounded by wetlands. We think we picked the best location. Obviously, that'll be up for discussion tonight. Again, I manage drainage and stormwater, and I tried to give as much detail as I could to the commission to show how this would get constructed. So at this point, I'll turn it over to the commission.
Sure.
I should also note that we did notice all the abutters, and we gave proof of notification back to the Conservation Department. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Eileen, why don't you go next and give us any thoughts or comments on this one?
That was a very comprehensive review by Jack. I appreciate that. So it's an ADU, one of the first freestanding ones that the commission has dealt with. Also some driveway, walkway, utilities and grading. They have designed Cultex. I actually didn't look at the details of that yet, but I would do 100% believe you that it's 2 feet above estimated season high groundwater. And Lucy says it looks good. Some things came in just within the last day or so, so you may not have had time to look at them, like the alternatives analysis that they were talking about. I kind of accept that there isn't really any better spot for this on the site. One thing to note is that when we were out there, we saw a lot of dumping of grass outside their fence and close to the stream, and they had also built up a berm of I think mostly soil and maybe grass clippings or something right on the bank, which is not a good place to put it, and that should probably be pulled off. But those are really my only thoughts or comments or concerns. But Lucy, I kind of jumped in there. Did you have anything to add?
All I had written down was grass berms, so
The
we're on the
same.
same page.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. All right, next I'd like to go first and make a few comments because I want the commissioners, if they want to comment on it, for the subject for discussion. Now, I think the current owner has been there since what year? How many?
The house was built in 86.
Six.
87.
And when did he move in?
Built in 86.
When did he move in? When did you move in?
November 13th of 86.
So you've been there all that time? Okay, there's a reason why I'm asking that. Okay, after you have bought that house, about 10 years after, the state passed the Rivers Protection Act, okay? And the Rivers Protection Act finally, it was recognized previous to this, but it finally recognized that the stream, bank, and the riverfront area, the area from the stream, has a lot of environmental value, and it should be protected. So there's a law that says we're supposed to uphold the Rivers Protection Act, okay? And one of the things it does is because it protects water quality. For example, the vegetation along the riverfront along the stream and back from the stream acts as a natural buffer, and it traps filtering sediments. The reason I'm going into this, because I want you to just understand what we're up against, because we're supposed to uphold this, okay? So that's why I'm telling you this. This is not meant to be a lecture. Well, it sort of is, but it's not, well, anyways. And the vegetation, like you have on the other side, provides a lot of shade. And the importance of the shade is it regulates the water temperatures. So any animals or anything that uses that as their habitat, or even small fish or whatever it could be in there, actually relies on cool water for that, okay? Another thing that riverfront does is it controls any flooding. It slows runoff. Now, in your particular site, that's not so big a deal, other than the berm, because the site is level and you don't have a lot of runoff of stuff like roadways and stuff like that going into the stream, which would pollute the stream. It's not the case in you have a very level lot. And the vegetation also stabilizes the banks. Now, you have stabilized the banks because over many, 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 many years, you've sort of, over a long area, you've put a lot of grass clippings, and it now has matted down, and it's all completely compressed and matted down. So, to a certain extent, the top of the bank anyway is stabilized because of that, but that's not a good situation. The other thing is it provides, the riverfront offers essential food, shelter, breeding sites, nesting areas, and things like that. The far side of the stream does that. The current side of the stream doesn't do that because for hundreds of feet along the length of the wetlands, it's been filled in over many, many years, okay? So the question for the commission is, I mean, from my point of view, this is like a substantial violation, okay, of our bylaw and the Rivers Protection Act, to be honest with you. The question to consider is, what do we do about it? With that strong of a layer of grass clippings, if it was a thin layer, you add in some good soil and you just plant a few things or put a seed mix in and you're all set, ready to go. Where it's so thick and it's been methodically built up over many years, that won't work, unfortunately. And the grass clippings, the concern over, typically when we see that, the concern is that grass clippings will add a burst of nitrogen and phosphorus from inside the grass clippings, and that goes into the stream, and that creates an algae bloom. But that is not really what's happening. I mean, actually, the stream looks pretty healthy, which is the good news anyway. So I don't see that really happening. So I guess where we are on this is, ideally, I guess we need to consider how do we reestablish some kind of restoration there under our bylaw to correct the situation. And then if you introduce some native plants, then the natural balance in the environment goes back to normal. I guess one thing is you'd say, well, the obvious thing is to consider, the commission considers removing some of that filled material and then put some decent soil there. That's the bad news. The good news is you're going to have a backhoe there anyway. So you don't have to have a separate contract for some guy to come do that. It's going to be right 20 feet away anyway. And so you could probably, if you were willing to help correct this situation, we could say remove it, and then I'm not sure how to restore it. Either sometimes we say put down like a seed mix and it just goes back to normal. Sometimes we say it should have a few shrubs planted or maybe a couple of trees planted. Maybe you would welcome having a couple of trees planting. I don't know. That has yet to be discussed. So I wanted the commission to kind of hear all that in case, before you start commenting, because there's really two issues. One is the ADU, which I don't think seems to have a lot of problems with it. It sounds great, frankly. But the issue of what to do about the riverfront, if you weren't here with a notice of intent and somehow it got to our attention, then that would be considered an enforcement action. And the way we would handle that is Eileen would probably send you a letter and say, please come in and talk to us. That would be the first way of handling enforcement. That's how we normally do it. But you're here anyway, so we get to talk to you anyway. That's all I wanted to say about it.
Could I add one thing, Mr.
Sure,
Chairman?
please, go ahead.
Just to maybe make it easier for discussion. I've talked to them about this. When I first went out to do the survey, I saw the grass clippings. I said, that's a problem. They're willing to remove it, all the grass clippings.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
So that, the part of this, they're willing to remove it. I would recommend the removal, like you said, there'd be a machine out there anyways. If they could do a native wetland mix and maybe, some native shrubs or some low bush blueberry, something that's inexpensive but will provide stabilization of that bank, and over time it'll just, come back to a good health.
All right, thank you. That is fantastic to hear you guys say that, to be honest with you. So, Eileen, do you want to comment on this at all, or before we go to the commissioners?
I'm a little bit concerned about the idea of using machinery right on the bank.
Okay.
My preference would be by hand, but I guess we could see how firm it is. It seems like it's probably pretty friable, in which case you could pull it back. I actually think it probably some of that has become soil and.
Well, the issue is they're going to be,
plantings.
the thing is, I envision that they're going to be working from a grassed area. In other words, they could almost reach with a backhoe over the fence and probably pick it up, I thought. I don't know if it's close enough or not.
Would you have a backhoe on site? Because you're not going to be doing any demo.
Yeah, yes.
Can you point out what you're talking about with the banks? Is it this bank right here? This is the front yard, right? The bank right here, into this here?
Yeah,
And
yes.
then all the way down,
Yeah.
all the way down this side? If I'm gonna say, if you're looking at this picture, all the way down that side of the river?
Right.
There you
Yeah, you've got,
We just moved it back again.
wait, well, you've got loose grass clippings.
Yeah, this, I was
along
talking
there. Sorry, can you just go back to what you had said?
Oh, sorry. I'm seeing it
Right
change
there,
in,
just,
yes.
Yeah, this one, this all the way
That's all
down.
loose, so that is easy to just
Right.
break off.
So
But there's this here that you've created a whole berm.
right, I did that for a reason years ago for the little kids, but that can be removed.
Well, you could potentially, I mean, if you're thinking that there's gonna be kids there, you could maybe put up a fence that's got,
Right. But for the
posted
years that
rail or
I've been there,
something?
we took 2 kids out of the swamp because they were stuck. It was like mud,
Oh, God.
quicksand.
Yeah.
So Jenna and I took them out. But, so that's why I did that,
Yeah.
that room there, because they're riding their bicycles, going straight down and in. But anyways, if you want, all this grass here can all be removed by myself.
Well, that stuff's easy, because you could just rake that.
What's that?
That's the easy stuff, because you can rake that. I think Larry's talking about the bigger deal is the stuff that's created a berm.
Fine, switch it. Here it goes, ready, loading, there it is.
If you're saying that I put grass, can you go back to that one?
The one from before.
Well, this is the one that's showing the berms.
That one there.
Yeah.
I did not put grass in this area. It's only been where my footpath was, down to the back. I didn't fill that up with grass.
Right.
On that bank.
No, the bank is not filled. You're right.
This is, yes, that can be removed. I can remove.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think if there's no grass there, years of piling it up, then you can easily put a seed mix there and maybe some shrubs and call it a day, I would think. If there is grass there, if it's thick, it won't work that way, unfortunately. It has to be removed. And layers and layers of grass actually create quite a bit of heat underneath, and the problem is the plants wouldn't survive. It'd be a waste of your money. So you don't want to do that.
So we're good?
Yeah, well, what we'll need is a plan of what you're going to do. He'll have to just write up a little write-up on how he's going to do it, and then we talk about it. But I think we're going in the right direction from everything you've said so far.
So if I start removing it, you guys may have to come back down again and look at it. I plan on getting it down to the dirt.
Right.
Which I don't see is gonna be a big problem for me. The hard part will be this, but that I should be able to handle that.
Yeah. All right, well, what you want to do is stay in touch with the office about what you're planning to do before you do it.
Oh, don't do it first, don't just dig into it?
Eileen, would you want to chime in here?
If I dig in, you're gonna want it done anyway, so if I start digging into it and then you look at it,
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate how willing and how eager you are to do it. Believe me, I do. Eileen, could you?
Larry was talking about using machinery. I'm not sure what your plan is,
my plan is to do manual labor.
which I think is actually is the thing to do there, because I don't really want to see that stuff just being tossed in.
The backhoe's gonna be tough trying to do what you guys are thinking.
Yeah.
And to get someone down that small side with a machine, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I mean, that's all good if you think you can do it by hand.
Well, why don't I go out and visit next week? Because regardless of the ADU, that's going to happen. And he and I will come up with a plan about, because he may not have to go all the way down. You know, it may just be a little bit of mini, like relatively minor shoveling. The further down you go, more of the work might be up this end, what we're seeing here. Is that okay?
I can start it, just to see what comes up. I won't go crazy. And then when you come down and visit and take another look at it, you can see how I did, or if you want more done.
Yeah, I mean, since you're doing it by hand, I don't think anybody's probably going to have too much objection.
No, I don't think it.
Yeah, the goal would be to not have machinery past where the ADU is going to be.
Got it. Oh, I can understand it's going to rip up the yard.
Right,
I
yeah.
mean, I get it, what you're driving at.
But if you guys are okay with that, then I'm good. I'll start it, and, and we'll go from there.
Eileen, you okay with that, doing it by hand?
Oh, yeah, definitely with doing it by
Yes,
hand.
perfect, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And then just my next question would be with the wetland seed mix and the native shrubs, at what distance do you want those? You obviously don't want us to put them down close to the bank.
Usually, we have, as part of a permit project like this, we have a plan, and it shows how many, it lists how many, and it shows the spacing on the drawing, is usually how it goes.
There's usually a 20-foot no disturb from the bank, and that's the area that should be restored,
Okay,
and let some natural vegetation eventually take over.
Okay.
So that protects the bank and the resource area on both sides. The other side's fine.
Yes?
You don't think that once the grass is cleared, the vegetation will come back up? Because after the winter season and spring comes in, all these weeds, or whatever you want to call them, already infest that whole line.
Usually, a wetlands person would comment on exactly that. Sometimes, if somebody accidentally or on purpose mows down a wetland, the question is, do you do anything to restore it? I have seen over the years, sometimes you do nothing, and in 6 months, it's back up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think in this case, if you don't mind me interrupting, you should actually plant a few shrubs out there that are specifically wetland native shrubs, rather than just waiting to see what pops in, because you've got a lot of grass and other clippings there, and I don't know what's going to come in. So I think, but you can let stuff come in around it, okay?
So
Really good advice.
We don't really need that.
We do have a lot of wildlife.
Yes.
A lot of deer come in and eat everything, so they'll probably be happy to see shrubs or something.
Oh, they
So
certainly
don't
will
have to
be.
Travel to the front.
They definitely will be.
Set up a buffet for them.
Okay, so I'd like to go to the commissioners and just see, now that that issue's been talked about, see if they have any comments. And Rob, you have comments on the ADU or any part of this project?
No, I think the ADUs pretty much looks fine. I think the best spot for it.
All right, Indra?
I see from the report itself, the soil is, there are some organic material. quite a bit.
I didn't hear that word.
In the soil test?
We had sandy soil, sand.
But here in the, am I looking to that North Environmental, this is the one, right?
Yeah, Tony Gibson, yep.
Yeah, Tony Gibson. So if I read it correctly here, the last paragraph of the first page in the report,
On the plan or in the
no,
report?
on the report.
Okay, from
It
North
says that
Environmental?
formed in 51 inches to many feet of black, highly decomposed organic materials over sandy and loamy mineral materials. And it says they have a water table which is at or near the surface. So you are using the Caltech.
So, two different things. The report you're reading, Norse Environmental, is explaining how they delineated the wetlands, looking for hydric soils more out towards the wetland area. Where I did the soil test is about 20 feet to the left of the existing house. We dug down, there was a fill layer, there was a buried topsoil layer, a buried subsoil layer, and then we hit the native soil, which was sand. And when I did that, we did this test, let's see, I found soil models 60 inches below grade. So the water table was 6 feet below grade, but I saw indicators of a seasonal high groundwater table a foot higher than we actually observed the water table. That's the indicator I go with the groundwater table. So the Norse report's more explaining how they came up with their delineation for
I see.
the bank and the BVW, where my soil test was more for drainage in a different location.
Okay. So you have the boring log anyway, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. Ed?
Nothing, I think, just the way you're going about it, I'm just satisfied that, you know, he's gonna go by hand and get it all out.
Yeah.
And that's what you already addressed in here.
Right.
Heck, I'll do it. You know,
Okay,
I think
all right.
That's the key.
All right. All right, how's Sarah?
I don't have anything to add.
Thank you.
Phil?
I think this is exactly why the ADU permits were passed, to allow this type of thing, so family members could stay together and accommodate the changing generations. So I think that's great. My understanding, and you may want to make sure of this, I thought an ADU that was separate from the dwelling had to independently connect to the sewage system. I didn't think you could connect to the main dwelling. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and I haven't had until you said it, I didn't take the time to look it up. But you might want to double check that to make sure that that is allowed. I
Okay.
thought that was part of the planning.
I'll check on that. Some towns, and I've done a few, I did do one ADU in Burlington so far, but I didn't have to come before you guys, but Eileen and Lucy reviewed the drainage on it. Some towns will make me do an outside connection, so we have to connect outside the building at a service, and we do like a mini manhole, so there's a common connection. So it may have to be done outside, but we wouldn't be going out to the street. But
I think you may be required to go out to the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that made, the Burlington ADU was a little bit more restrictive than the statewide.
Okay, I'll check with the town
Yeah, just-
engineer.
I
'cause
hope I'm wrong,
That
but,
would
yeah,
be,
you know.
that would be a cost to them if they have to cut the
Correct.
street.
Correct. But it would be a real cost if you did it wrong and then they made you change it, so.
Correct, so it's better to ask.
Yes.
Okay, the only comment I have is regarding the restoration of the riverbank, where, how many plants, where to use seed mix, I think we need a plan for that, and so it can be discussed, and the very least reviewed by our staff.
Okay,
Okay, so we don't want to leave that as sort of like vague and verbal. I think we need to have something proposed.
I think if Eileen goes out with the homeowner and we can get what area we're talking about, then we can do that. We
Sure,
can
sure.
provide that plan, sure.
Sounds good. All right, that's all I have. I think this is a great project.
And
I
just
really
one
do.
more tip for the homeowner. When you mow, just get a mulching mower. Leave the grass clips in place.
Way back when I did, I just bought this mower maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And it didn't come with a blade, so I started bagging. And a lot of times I don't use the bag, I just let it go.
Right.
Yeah, that's the best
When
thing.
it's short enough.
Yeah, that works really
Right,
good.
right.
You just, you don't have to
Well,
deal with it.
the true mulching blade, even if it's long, will
Right.
keep it going and dice it to
Right,
real
you
small
won't even
anyway.
notice it.
Right.
The mulching blade is going to make the move when my husband and I move there,
Okay.
once it's built.
Okay.
This being so close to the resource areas, there'll also be some concerns about what kinds of fertilizers are being used as well. So you can still use fertilizer, but they have to be the right kind that are not going to be damaging to the riverfront, the river itself.
Okay, so I think, is there anybody here, this is a hearing, is there anybody else that wants to say something on a butter or anything? I don't think anyone's
Well,
here.
Lucy did just remind me, which I completely misunderstood, that Norse is already working with them on this, so we could get Maureen involved just to suggest something for that restoration area.
Yep.
All right. So do you have any other remaining questions at this point? If not, we'll continue. Now, do we need anything from them other than a restoration plan, essentially? We talked about a little bit after it's agreed upon.
I think that we have all the material we need for the ADU. I mean, it came in maybe in fits and starts a little bit, but I think now we have everything we need. I think it's just a question of just us all being fairly confident with the restoration portion, and I have no issue with, I
All right.
don't think we'll have an issue with
So
issuing next time.
if you continue to the next meeting and we have, or can agree upon a restoration approach on what's going to be done,
Yep.
then we could issue the permit at the next meeting, right?
Yeah,
So we'll just close an issue and you'll be all set.
Sound good?
yeah.
Sounds good?
And I'll get some clarification from the DPW on the, so I'll want to show those connections on the plan so you guys have a full picture of what's going on.
And the planning board planning department is the one you should probably talk to.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
So, just so I'm clear, the existing shed is going to go, but you're going to get a brand-new shed for that little area, right?
That's right.
Okay, thank you. It's not on the plans, I don't want to forget to mention it in the description.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, we'll lose the shed to the left of that landscaped area, which is the westerly side of that landscape, and we'll put a new shed in that landscaped
got it,
area.
yep.
I'll add that to the plan as well.
So I think we're all set. If we are, could I have a motion to continue the project at 20 Gibson Street, DEP file number 122-725, to the meeting of October 9th, 2025? We'll move. Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. You're all set. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jack.
That went very well.
It did very well.
And then there was Susan.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me to read the next one as well?
Please read the next one, yes.
Yeah, I should have that.
I don't think I got that one either.
Yep, okay. Notice is hereby given that the Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on September 25th at 7:20 PM in the main hearing room. As a courtesy to the public, it will also be accessible virtually via WebEx. The purpose of the public hearing is to take all information related to a notice of intent filed by Thomas and Alison Charette for the construction of an entryway at 4 Freeport Drive in Burlington. The proposed work would be within bordering land subject to flooding and the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland pursuant to, etc., the Wetlands Protection Act and the Burlington bylaw. The Commission will review all information pursuant to the relative to the application and may thereafter issue an order of conditions.
Okay, come on up. Thank you for waiting all this time.
Thank you.
Sorry it took so long.
That's how it
All right,
goes.
so we know who you are, but you should introduce yourself for the record and then
How do I-
start speaking.
Explain, okay, got it. Susan Cadillac with Pamco Construction, here for this project at 4 Freeport Ave. They're looking to put a small addition on the front of the house to expand the entryway about 11.5 feet by 12.5 feet. And the floodplain is pretty much right now, like right at that front entry, so most of the filling is being done because the framing of the landing is going to be in that floodplain.
Okay. Eileen or Lucy, you have comments on this one?
Do you want to say something?
Sure. I mean, it's a pretty small project. Let me see if I can, the lag on this is crazy every time I switch it. There we go. So they're just putting a little, this is maybe drawn weird because of the steps. It's actually just this little section of entryway on the front of the house. I believe it's going to be a mudroom. You can see right here the side projection. They are proposing to fill, I believe, 100 cubic feet of the floodplain. The addition itself will be elevated, which is not currently shown on here, but we have been assured that it is true. They are proposing some compensatory storage in the rear of the yard. We did have some questions on site about, you can't tell from these pictures, but the front entryway appears to be a couple feet lower than the compensatory storage area, but we were assured that they're matching the elevation of flood compensation. So what is actually being filled as there is pass-through below the new addition, they don't need to accommodate that storage area, but they do need to accommodate for the upper, like 1 to 2 feet of that slice of the floodplain. Personally, I find the floodplain so confusing, but I've got the cut and fill table down here also, which shows that they're doing the right things. Not very concerned about this project. It's very small.
Okay.
Did you understand the filling part?
Finally.
Well, you were there.
Yeah.
I was there.
I think being there makes it a lot clearer.
Yeah, it was, yes.
Right.
Do you, gentlemen, and everybody else understand what is actually filling the floodplain?
Even though this thing is on posts, the platform for the mudroom, that, the actual base of the platform is in the floodplain from there to the ground. So they're filling that 1 foot depth above the ground level. So that compensating for that fill and the minor fill of the posts.
We should call it
But
like
it's not on the ground,
No.
it's unusual, it's actually up in the
Right.
air. Yeah.
It's still in the floodplain.
I guess all that matters is they're filling floodplain.
displacing the floodplain.
Yeah,
Maybe helps.
yep.
All right, okay, so let's, this is a fairly small project. Let's see if anybody has questions for you.
Okay.
Ed, anything? Ed?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Sarah, anything in this?
I can't quite picture what this is gonna look like. Like, I see the side projection, but like, it doesn't give me a very good sense. Is it gonna be like this snoot coming out from the house? Unless
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah, so.
They use the word
so-
snoot?
That's what we're going to call it now.
It's so hard not to.
Yeah, because, a lot of split entry homes, you walk in, there's only a couple of feet, you're walking into the stairs. So this is going to give you an actual entry to walk into without falling down the stairs.
And it's on legs, so you could like go under it if you felt like it?
You could, yeah. So almost think of like an elevated deck. So you could go under it if you wanted to.
Interesting.
And the water can go under it if it wants.
The water can go under it if it wants to, yes.
That's an interesting idea, all right. That's all I have.
Okay, Rob, you have anything on this? How about Indra, anything on this? And Bill, anything on this?
Nope.
And I have nothing, which is unusual, so that's,
I'll take it.
I think, and is there anyone, I guess this is a public hearing, so is anyone in the audience anywhere? No one, no, obviously no one
No one anywhere.
is here. Anyone online? No, okay. All right, so I guess the staff anticipated on issuing today because we didn't think there'd be remaining issues. Did you
Well,
see?
given the small scope and the fact that they have a DEP file number, and we didn't think anybody was going to have any questions.
Right.
We just thought Susan would prefer it to.
Do you have you received a copy of the,
Yes.
you don't need these, okay.
Nope.
Okay, all right. So I guess Eileen or Lucy will go through it.
Yeah, okay.
It's on its way.
All right, I will start with the bylaw as usual, because that always describes the actual project. Let me look back at my notes to see if there was anything that we didn't mention. No, not really. it was just to, my notes just mentioned that the compensatory storage area, even though it's in the way back, is still in the reach of the same stream and at the same elevation. So, a notice of intent, wetland bylaw application, oh yes please, was filed for construction of a 12.5 by 11.5 entryway mudroom within bordering land subject to flooding. The total estimated fill of 105 cubic feet, mostly for the landing, a little bit for the footings, would be balanced with the compensatory storage area of the same volume and within the same reach of the associated waterway, which is Sawmill Brook, and having an unrestricted hydraulic connection to the waterway. No trees will be removed for this project. The Commission finds that the footprint of the addition, I'm calling it an addition here, but maybe I'll just change it to entryway, would have a de minimis effect on flows, not enough to cause an increase in flood stage or velocity, meeting performance standard 1057-4A2. We went through the history. Here, I just highlighted just to say that the hearing was closed at September 25th, in case we didn't close it now, so I would remember to change it if it ended up being the next time. The two documents referenced were the plot plan that we all received, and then the building plans that Susan added within the last day or so that we could, well, actually, it's possible that Lucy downloaded them from the building permit, so that we could all see another view. The Commission is finding that this project is exempt from the stormwater management regs as it's an accessory project to a single-family home. Some of the adjacent driveway will be removed, providing additional impervious surface around the entryway. In addition, erosion and sedimentation controls will be implemented during construction. The applicant is responsible for obtaining all applicable permits. I've just scooted on towards the end because all of the rest of that stuff is very standard. We're also saying here that the use of pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers is not acceptable in wetland riparian zones and stream areas, and that we are proposing a bond in the amount of $2,000 is what we are suggesting. We can talk about that for the duration of the project. And then the order of conditions is referencing the same two items, the plot plan and the building plans. The first several conditions Susan has seen several times. We're just repeating again that this project has to comply with the plans as approved. The order permits work within the floodplain of Sawmill Brook, also known as bordering land subject to flooding. No work within any other resource areas being permitted by this decision. Going down to pre-construction conditions, those are also the standard ones about how you're supposed to inform us several days before the work starts, but in this case, work is ongoing in the inside of the house, so you're just going to let us know when you're going to be starting that external work. Yeah. And put up your DEP sign and pay your bond and record the order. We are just suggesting, if the Commission feels that sediment barriers are warranted, I was just suggesting some simple wattle right around the frontage and no more, because I don't think anything else is necessary for this small project. And those can just be 9-inch straw wattles around the limit of work. Stockpiles should not be stockpiled on site within the BLSF or within 50 feet of wetlands. No dewatering permitted on this site in conjunction with this project. Keep the road clean. We reserve the right to require additional erosion controls. The pollution control conditions are all the standard ones about if you dump anything or spill anything, let the right people know, and if anything falls into a stream or a wetland, immediately take it out. And that remains as a continuing condition in perpetuity. The floodplain conditions are that no filling or change of grade is permitted within floodplain other than the approved compensatory storage. This condition shall continue in perpetuity and shall be noted on the certificate of compliance. No removal of trees is permitted by this decision. And the last condition, number 46, is how you go about getting your certificate of compliance.
Okay, is there anything that causes an issue for you at all that you heard?
Nope.
I guess pretty standard stuff, I guess. All right, if there's nothing further from anyone on the conditions, could I have a motion to close the hearing on file 122-726?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. Could I have a motion to adopt the findings under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for file number 122-726?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Same vote, 600. Could I have a motion to adopt the permit and its conditions under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 and the State Wetlands Protection Act for 122-726?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Same vote, 600. Could I have a motion to adopt the bond, request a bond at $2,000 performance surety under Burlington Bylaw Article 14?
So moved.
Okay, question for anybody who wants to answer this. Is that high for how small this project is?
I was
That
thinking that
question.
too. Such a teeny little.
That's up to you. That we can absolutely change it.
I mean,
All right, would anybody like to change it?
$1,500.
1,500. Anybody for lower?
1,000.
Do I get that?
What?
I think it passed.
I mean, all we've been hearing is a small project, small
Yeah, maybe
project.
1,000, yeah.
All right, are you making a motion?
I make a motion.
So you're amending the motion
I'm
from
amending-
2,000 down to 1,000?
Yes.
Or is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. The remain motion's amended. Could I have a motion to adopt requiring a performance surety of $1,000?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? 600.
Thank you.
You're all set. Thanks so much. But one more thing.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say, you participated, as you know, we're going before a town meeting on the bylaw, and you participated, particularly your participation on the subcommittee. We had an informal, it wasn't a formal subcommittee, it was an informal subcommittee,
Yeah.
and so forth. So I think, I'd just say, on behalf of the commission, we really did appreciate your contribution. You made some very valuable comments and contribution.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you, Susan.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Okay, Bill, you got to sign this.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so this one is Freeport. That's the one we just did. All right, so I guess moving this along, planning board comments?
I do not think we have any. Except just to mention that the proposed development that we discussed, where we had the informal discussion, that will definitely be a planning board filing as well.
Okay.
They will be involved.
But, okay, how about subcommittee and staff reports?
I don't have any, oh, well, we'll just mention that we did table at the beer garden last week. We had a table of stormwater and trees, and, we should have brought your cards. I tell everybody about her cards. She created these lovely little collectible cards about some, oh yeah, you've already seen them, but I think there's some.
Like baseball cards,
I
but
like
each one's a
these.
different tree.
About trees, you know.
And you
Oh,
know, I put them up for sale on eBay, each one got $1,000.
I will take that.
They're in excellent condition.
But they are very cute.
Okay, okay, and next is other business.
No,
Town meeting starts Monday.
oh, there's
There's
that.
not really any issues on
That
it.
other business.
All right, what article are we? You know?
10, I think.
Okay, Article 10. So if you would like to come in, offer your presence as support for the article, we're going to town meeting to propose that we do what most other communities have done, which is to put everything that makes the program work, who it applies to, when it applies, keep it in the bylaw for town meeting to have complete control over, and the long list of technical content and logistical content we have moved into our regulations, and we have adopted those. So we're proposing that they adopt this much slimmer bylaw because we would like to just take all the technical content out and not leave it there. So the advantage is, of course, if we want to make a change and there's a clarification that needs to be made, or Massachusetts changes something in their stormwater standards, and we have to comply with that. We have to hold hearings on amending the bylaw. Then we have to vote to take it to town meeting. Then we go to the General Bylaw Review Committee, and sometimes that's 2 or 3 meetings. Then we go to maybe the Planning Board or the Board of Health and make presentations there. Then we go to the Select Board and make presentations there. Then sometimes the Select Board asks us to come back because they don't want to vote right then and there. Finally, we get to town meeting and we make a vote, we make a presentation and ask for their vote. For technical changes that don't affect how the program works, we'd like to do it the way other towns have and put it all into regulations. So that's what we're proposing, and we're hoping for a positive result this time.
Hopefully so.
Now, the first item is the high school building project, which may very well consume the entire first night. It's hard to say if it will even come up on that Monday. And the second night is not going to be Wednesday, it's going to be the following Monday because of Jewish holidays. So we're going to be going into October for this, probably.
Maybe. I've heard some people say that so much information has gotten out there about the high school building project that maybe it may not go too long.
That'd be nice.
I would find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's the largest single budget item ever on any town meeting in Burlington history.
And that's true of every single town that wants to ever redo their high schools.
Right.
It is what it is.
They're very excited.
And today, I actually got a call from a town meeting member who wanted to know what I thought about that project.
Yep.
Huh.
And
That's a Conservation Commission chair?
as just a person he wanted to call, I didn't have the heart to tell him I'm not a town meeting member. So, anyways, no, he just wanted an opinion, I guess, and he asked for it, and then we talked a bit. Anyways, upcoming meetings, next one's October 9th, the following one after that, October 23rd. Obviously, if you can't make it, let people know. And let's see, could I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So move.
Second. All in favor? 600. Have a good evening, everyone.